In this demonstration, you'll learn how to scrape information from a website using Instant Data Scraper. Instant Data Scraper is a third-party add-in that you can install on the Chrome browser that will allow you to easily scrape information off a web page. The first step is you have to install the add-in. So to install the add-in, what you do is you go to Google and you search Instant Data Scraper. So I've already searched Instant Data Scraper here. Once you search Instant Data Scraper, you'll notice that towards the top of your results, in my case, it's the very first result, I'll have the Instant Data Scraper from the Chrome Web Store. So you can see here the Chrome Web Store. So I'm going to choose that link. Once I choose the link, you'll notice that it gives me information about this extension or this add-in. So it says the add-in's called Instant Data Scraper. Kind of gives me information as far as the ratings go. So it's got a 4.9 star rating. 800,000 users have installed this. Notice the icon here for the Instant Data Scraper. It's kind of an optical disc with looks like, a red color above a gray color, right? Over to the right, I do see we've got the Add to Chrome button. So I'm going to add this extension to Chrome. Pops up with a quick little confirmation message. Are you sure you want to add the Instant Data Scraper? So I'm going to add that extension, and that'll install this to the Chrome browser. Gives me a confirmation message that Instant Data Scraper has been added to Chrome. Perfect. So I'll close that down. And then what you'll do is when you're navigating a target website, you'll go to the extensions button up top right here, and you can go and activate this add-in at any point in time just by choosing it there, right? Now, if I want this add-in to display all of the time, I can hit the little push pin there, right? So instead of hitting the extensions button, I'll show you what I mean. If I come over here, we don't have the extensions or the Instant Data Scraper extensions button here on the toolbar, but if I want it, I can hit the extensions, hit the push pin, and notice now that that icon with the red and the gray is on the toolbar the whole time. Perfect. So then what you'll do is you'll navigate to the target site that you want to scrape data off of. Now in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Amazon, right, as my target site. And what I did is I did a quick little search on my books. So I can see here that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's quite a few here, books themselves. And you can see the data is consistent. We've got the title of the book itself. You can see the author of the book. You can see the date that the book was published. You can see the ratings there for the book. The price is there for the book as well. Expected delivery time, that kind of idea. So what I want to do is I want to haul this information off the web page and dump it out to either a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet. And that way I can analyze the information at a later time, right? And again, I'm just using the Amazon website as the example, but when you're performing a pen test for an organization, what you'll do is you'll target their web pages. So you'll check out their websites, the public website, and extract information. So you could be extracting information like contact information. So maybe you'll hit the About Us page or the Employees page, and there's a number of contacts, names, job positions, phone numbers, email addresses, that kind of information. And what you want to do is you want to extract that out into a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet so that you can then use that information later on potentially in an attack. So maybe you're going to do a social engineer attack and you need that contact information, right? So again, I'm just going to use the Amazon site and the books as the example, but this is the data that I want to extract out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the little Instant Data Scraper button, and what it's going to do is it's going to use AI to detect the data on the page. And let me just maximize this window here, and just to kind of see if I've got the right information. So it looks like I've got a URL. Looks like another URL for the image. So it looks like the URL for the actual book itself, an image, Looks like another URL, and then this looks like the title of the book. So this column is the title column. Now notice that the name of this column is A size medium. That's a terrible name. So I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to change the name of this column. And this is going to be the title column. So when I go and extract this out to a CSV file or an Excel spreadsheet, I'll have a title column, right? And then when I scroll over, just want to double check that I've got everything that's relevant that I care about. There's some stuff maybe that I don't want. So I haven't really kind of looked at which of these URLs. So I've got multiple columns for URLs. I haven't looked at which one is the actual column that I do want, but let's say this is a column that I don't need. I can hit the X there and I can close that column, right? So that way, when I go and export this out to a CSV file, I'm not getting that information. Same thing here. This looks like the link to let us know how many new and used are there. So I don't want that. I don't want the word by. Maybe I'll close that column. So I'm getting rid of the information that I don't really need. Here we've got our author information. So maybe I'll go and rename this column to author. It looks like another column. Oh, so it looks like a column where they have multiple authors. So it looks like the word and. So I'll go with, looks like the data is kind of messed up here. So I'll keep both of these columns because I'm going to have to massage that a little bit. It looks like the word by is here, but the actual author is in this column. So you can see it's not 100% perfect, but what's nice is it saved me a lot of work where I've extracted a lot of information from that website, right? Here I can see the published date. So maybe I'll go and I think that's the published date. So here I'll go and change the name of that. So again, you can continue on through and just scroll to the right, delete columns you don't need, and then rename columns that you do want, right? So you can see there's quite a few columns here. Looks like we do have the price column as well. So that's perfect. So a lot of those columns I would probably end up deleting. Now, if you don't want to decide right now, like I said, the URLs, there's multiple columns that involve URLs. So you really want to take a look at it. And so I do want the URL for the book. So you want to take the time to look at it, right? And this may not be the greatest tool to spend time investigating. So my point here is there's nothing wrong with extracting it all and then bringing it into Excel and using the ease of use tool of Excel or features of Excel to be able to delete the columns and even massage the data with formulas and stuff like that, right? So once I've got the information I want, what I can do is I can export it out to a CSV file if you wanted to, or you can export it out to Excel, right? So I'll do an export to CSV and I'll do an export to Excel. So I did an export to both. The other thing that I wanted to point out is that if you found that the instant data scraper, when I kind of shrink this window down, you can see that it's highlighted the table itself in the background, right? So it's telling you, hey, this is what I've seen as data that I'm going to extract out. Sometimes, depending on how the page has been developed, it may get that wrong. So what you could do is hit try another table, and it's gone and highlighted something on the page that it sees as a table. Might be something in the margin, but you can see a sample there of what it is you'd export, right? So let's say that I had launched the tool and it had selected this area first, this data. I'm looking at that thinking, no, that's not the data I want. So you could say, try another table, right? Now it looks like it highlighted the whole thing. So I try again. So eventually it should loop around. There it is in the margin area. Try another table and it found the right results. So you may have to, depending on what it detects, you may have to hit the try another table to move it around and select the appropriate data on that page that you do want to export.